kind of having that growth mindset, I want to go beyond that. So what's the answer here? And so for me, that was reaching out to other business coaches or kind of gym owner coaches that had like moved their business beyond that, and then learn from them, their systems, how they approach that. And that's where we kind of got the idea for that semi-private training model and how to use that effectively.
Welcome to The Expansion Code. I'm Heather, and I could not be more excited to finally launch this podcast. This is the space where we dive into all things business, growth, leadership, and team expansion. I am really passionate about building something bigger than myself, sharing knowledge, and creating opportunities for others to thrive. I started solo, and now I lead a team of over 50, so trust me, I know the highs and the challenges and the incredible moments that come with scaling a business. Throughout this podcast, I'll be sharing insights, strategies, and conversations with some truly incredible guests. We are going to cover everything from marketing and leadership to mindset shifts and business expansion. So my goal is to give you real, actionable takeaways that you can apply to your own journey. Let's dive in, learn together, and unlock what's next. Welcome to The Expansion Code. Welcome back to The Expansion Code with Heather Dick. I am your host. Today we have Justin Cross back.
Thank you.
Welcome. I didn't say anything, but welcome. So last time Justin was on the show, we talked about team building and how to go from 0 to 1. And today we are going to discuss your business aspect. So how do you get to the point where you can burst at the seams?
I guess like we talked about like adding team members. Now it's like, how do you create more value for your own time?
Yeah.
The first one was talking about kind of taking yourself out of the business a bit. Now I guess it's like how to kind of grow that business in and of itself.
So when you started, you were by yourself for how long?
I made my first kind of team member hire I was probably already in the business for 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
So if we started in 2012, I probably made my first hire in like 2015, 2016.
Okay.
And that's kind of, you actually end up training with one of like our first
I did.
kind of trainers that we ever hired.
Yeah, he's great.
So that was like probably our first couple of years in the business there. For me, at least in my business, like starting from scratch, like that first 2 years was really chaotic and hectic, just trying to hit the ground running and like build a business in and of itself. After that, probably like 3 or 4 years, we started looking to like bring someone on to start handling clients that I physically didn't have time for.
And how do you think that you got to the point where you had so many clients you didn't have enough time?
I think at least in my industry, which is like the training industry, you have kind of like prime time hours,
right?
Like that kind of immediately after work class, that like early morning group of people. So you have these kind of hours of the day that just tend to like get filled up really quickly.
Right.
And people will phone in and classic time, like I'm looking to train like Tuesdays, Thursdays at 5 p.m., especially if you're using like a one-on-one training model, like once that hour's used up, like there's no way for you to kind of scale that business.
Mm-hmm.
You realize that kind of starts to fill up pretty quickly. So for me, it was like all of those prime time spots were full and full beyond capacity, where like if someone left, like there was someone kind of waiting to take that spot. They'd verbalize like, I would like that spot if it becomes available.
And do you think it's just because you're great at your job?
I think
a handsome fella,
although 5'8", 220. Questionable body type.
Okay, your wife is a very lucky woman.
Yeah, that's what I
and
tell
vice versa.
Vice versa. I think we kind of talked about in the other podcast, but like as jokes aside, like I treated it professionally, like a job, like showing up on time, showing up prepared, looking like I was there to train people, like taking that very seriously. I think at least in that rec center setting, people noticed that, and that's kind of how we generated lots of referrals, was people just seeing how we trained. Which was really helpful. That's, I think, how we kind of went from 0 clients and started to grow that client base. It's just people would see us interacting in the gym, like, these guys look like they know what they're doing. They're like really respectful in the space. And that would just lend people to kind of like start that, like reaching out, starting that conversation of looking to train with us.
Mm-hmm. And so when you got to the point, I actually don't think that, not that your business isn't special or your industry isn't special, but I think it is very relatable to the beauty or personal services industry. There's only so many weddings you can take on a Saturday morning. There's only so many nails you can do.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that it's actually quite relatable. So once you got to that point and you hired your first team member, let's talk about how you you built it to where you were training more than one person at a time.
Yeah. So for us, what we call, like, some people call it like small group personal training. We call it semi-private training. So for us, what we've kind of built in our space now that we kind of have leased a space is what we call semi-private training. So that would be a situation where those prime time spots where we typically might have just trained one person as a one-on-one client, now we might have anywhere from 3 to 7 clients in that space. Typically, like one 3 clients for every one trainer, and they're still getting like their personalized programming, so it's still that kind of feel of like one-on-one training. They still have a program that's built just for them, but we have that opportunity to like help a bunch more clients in that hour. So that kind of semi-private training has helped us move from that like one-on-one kind of training program and scale that to like being able to have close to like 7 clients in that same hour. And our goal is to like provide like the exact same level of service, coaching, kind of all that people want and expect, but the price point's a little bit lower and they can get more times that they want. So we
Right.
find that's like really been receptive for people, and kind of an easy sales pitch for them is you're going to be getting the exact same quality of training. Like the program design, the coaching is going to be the same. You're just going to be paying less for it, and you're going to be more flexible with your times that you can come train. It's not going to be stuck to a certain day and time every week. That can be flexible with your schedule, which I think people are really receptive to.
100%. And did you always have an idea to do this? Like, guys, I've known you for a really long time, and I remember you talking about this.
Yeah. So I think kind of coming back to like the big part for us was throughout like these 12 years of training at different levels, I've had different coaching for myself. So
Okay.
like reaching out to like other coaches to help me kind of move that business. So I think that's a big part of business ownership is realizing kind of where you've probably reached a certain level, a certain ceiling. For me, that was like reaching that ceiling of one-on-one training kind of 3 years in, where like there's not enough hours in the day for me to train one-on-one clients. So it's like, what's next? Are you okay with that? Then that's fine. Like, are you okay with that ceiling? Or kind of having that growth mindset, I want to go beyond that. So what's the answer here? And so for me, that was reaching out to other business coaches or kind of gym owner coaches that had like moved their business beyond that, and then learn from them, their systems, how they approach that. And that's where we kind of got the idea for that semi-private training model and how to use that effectively. And then once we had that idea, that kind of helped us move to kind of our next kind of ceiling. We were able to break through that barrier of training like one-on-one clients. Now we can kind of start to like move on and income-wise kind of increase our scalability and our profit.
So, what did you implement that was different than what you were doing?
So the big one was location. So where
Okay.
we're at in the rec centers, we were limited to training 1 or 2 people at a time, and we couldn't go beyond that. So we were just naturally like capped at like you're never going to be able to train more than that many people in a session. So when we started looking to rent space, that was kind of the whole point, was we are looking for a space to kind of introduce the style of programming, and the style of programming kind of will also need to warrant the space, in the sense like we'll need to be generating income to warrant being in this space.
Right.
Like our rent at the rec center was incredibly low. If we're going to take on a lease or a rental, we need to have a product in place that warrants us being there. We need to be making enough money to warrant being here. And that semi-private program was what kind of led us kind of down that path of kind of they both work together. We need the space, and we're going to fill the space with a product that can use it.
Did you, when you first started renting at because I know a little bit of background,
Yeah.
but so the gym that you were renting at, that you started renting at, were you allowed to do these private training, like these group private training?
So we could have moved there full scale, but just prior to COVID, we had started training lots of our teams and groups there.
Okay.
So we were using that space to kind of test run group training to see if that was a good fit. So we were just kind of paying per hour. So we were kind of like renting hours
Okay.
just to see if that was a good fit. And then kind of through the chaos that was COVID, it seemed like this was going to be a better fit for us to train all of our clients there, just because the rec centers with closures and stuff was really chaotic. So that kind of was a big push for us to like go there. We didn't really have an option.
Mhm.
And so this like that kind of like that was our hand that we were dealt. It's like either you're gonna deal with the closures that are COVID, or we're gonna use this like private studio to like work as best we can around like all those kind of restrictions were all over the place.
Okay, at one point in our friendship in the past 10 years, we've discussed profits and income and how much you need to make.
Yeah.
And at one point, you had said that your lease should never be more than 25% of your gross revenue.
Yeah.
So, which I completely agree.
Yeah.
Every business is different, right? Like with
Yeah.
Blush, I have tenants paying the rent.
Yeah.
But I'm also capped at how much money I can make. Like I don't make commission off of the people that are there.
Yes.
With your business is different, right? So I would like to know how you decided how much you can afford, how you pay your contractors and how you make it money?
Yeah. So like obviously we use like scheduling software that provides us like all that data, like what we're bringing in for like gross revenue. And then it was a nice situation where we started kind of renting by the hour to first see if this like program's a good fit. And then to be honest, there's still always going to be that risk. Like, okay, here's what our gross revenue is. We can afford to pay this much in rent. And that's when it made sense for us to make that leap to just paying like a monthly rent.
Right.
It's like that monthly rent was about 15% of our gross revenue at the time. So that felt like a pretty safe margin.
Right.
If if it we had some room to for expenses and stuff like that. So that was definitely like an area where we felt comfortable. Like, okay, this is a risk we're taking at this point. So that was helpful, like knowing that number, knowing I didn't want to have it much beyond 20% of our gross revenue and that it wasn't. It's like, okay, like this is a risk we can take to kind of move to this private location, start renting space. Because we went from, like, I think our rent, if you want to even call it that, the rec centers was $50 a month.
Yeah.
It was like basically the
Nothing.
price of like a membership.
It's like gas
And
for 3
we
days.
went to $1,300 a month.
Yeah.
And then that grew as we kind of started to do more sessions there. We kind of had to rent out for certain things. But so we went from $50 to $1,300, which is like a massive change. But seems outrageous. But like once you crunch those numbers and realize I think we can like drive a lot of better revenue from that $1,300, then it seemed like less of a tough pill to swallow.
And isn't it funny how, because I remember when you took over this, when you moved there,
Yeah.
the discussions we had were like, oh my God, $1,300?
Yes.
How are
Yeah.
you how are you gonna make money, Justin?
Yeah.
You know? And it's funny now to where you are in your business where your rent is
Triple that.
triple that.
Yeah.
And your expenses are way higher and all of these things. So it's interesting how our perception can kind of limit us sometimes.
Yeah. And there's always risk involved. So you'll never kind of like we talked previously about like when to hire that first member. There's always a risk with bringing someone on. There's always a risk with taking out a different lease space or more space. I think it's just mitigating the risk as best you can. And with that comes from like knowing your numbers really well. Like if you're just blissfully unaware, like I was probably in the first 3 years of business of like, we're just doing better and there's money in my bank account and it seems like we're busier every month. That was like great and that was fine. But that was also when my costs were like incredibly low. As those costs start to grow and you start to rent space, you need to be like way more dialed in with your numbers. Otherwise, you're going to get yourself in a situation where you've overstepped and you've overreached and you thought you were doing really well. And then you go to start look at these numbers like we're in a bad spot.
And, well, you've experienced it in your space,
Yeah.
which we now share. But, the previous tenant there got in that way where they dipped out on the lease.
Yeah, and so that was a situation where we were renting space. The main tenant on that lease did a midnight move kind of over the weekend. So we weren't really like aware that was going to happen. So kind of that was a tough situation where we went from, we had our rent, we were paying our rent. We had a situation where it was kind of not great communication at that time. But then it went from like that to the space was emptied over a weekend, which is like terrifying in and of itself. And like
so scary.
Super scary. I think the only upside to that was we had been preparing to build our business to like take over a space like that. So I think that's where having that growth mindset was like incredibly helpful. If I had been happy with the ceiling we were at in that space and not had any kind of ambition to grow, it would have probably set us up for failure because I wouldn't have been prepared to grow into the space that we're at now. So we did manage to like take over that space, which is great. And that's where I think that growth mindset is really helpful because it's not that if you're not growing, you're kind of decaying, but like that was really helpful there for us to always be thinking about like, where do we want to go? Can we break through the ceiling? That helped us when this opportunity, for lack of a better word, came up. It's like we're prepared to take that on. Whereas if kind of we were just comfortable with where we were, maybe training one-on-one, we didn't have that kind of income, we would have been kind of out. We literally would have had like the doors locked on us and we would have been kind of starting from scratch all over again.
Back to the rec center.
Yeah. So unfortunately, like, yeah, situation like either you grow or you die. And that was like case in point exactly what happened there in March of last year.
Cameron, my boyfriend always says, I'm not smart enough to be scared.
That's helpful.
And it is actually very helpful. Like the space that we now occupy together, if I would have known that it was going to be what it is, I would have never taken this lease over.
Yeah.
And so I went in and everyone's like, oh my God, this is a huge undertaking. I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. No, it was a huge deal.
Yeah.
And so with your always looking forward and looking for a new space, it was like, okay, well, this is actually, you were able to look at it like an opportunity.
Yeah. And you're making the best decision you have with the data you have.
Right.
So like again, like taking over that lease or whatever, like we're making like the best decision I have with like, if I look back on that, it's not like I ignored something. Like
Mhm.
you're always gonna have to trust your gut to a degree, but I still like knew the numbers. I knew what I was getting to. I knew the situation. Like, and for me too, like coming like from the fitness industry, coming out of COVID, being so used to like just having no control.
Yeah.
Just the simple fact of like having agency was really helpful. It's like, this is a risk I can take on. We spent 2 years of being just told what to do and getting shut down and all that kind of stuff. And so you almost get kind of like a calloused idea towards like whatever. Like it almost became like nihilist, like stuff's gonna happen. You just got so used to like things kind of happening that you almost become like immune to it. It's like whatever, just move forward.
Yeah.
And now a situation where like, okay, this is like a big challenge. It was almost like COVID prepared us for this midnight move scenario.
Yeah.
It was like I'm so used to just the chaos that was COVID that like something like this, I was just like, okay, like what's next?
Yeah.
You know, what's the worst that's gonna happen?
Yeah.
We'll get shut down. It's like, been there.
Yeah.
It happened 7 times. It's like
Yeah.
that was so that like if whatever kind of like silver lining from COVID, it
Yeah.
prepared us to handle this lease negotiation a little bit better, or at least be like immune to the stress that it was.
I completely agree. I think that, I mean, being in the wedding industry, in the personal services industry, it was up and down. You can do this. And I
Yeah.
remember opening my email the day that they shut everything down, and I had like 175 new emails, and I was like, oh my God. And now it's like,
If you see 75 emails, it's like,
yeah,
whatever. We've
yeah.
seen worse.
But it's conditioning, right? And that's,
Yeah.
I wish we never had to go through COVID, but if we're going to look at the positives of it, we can handle really stressful situations better now.
Yes. Yeah. And recognize them for what they are and things you can control and can't control. And again, coming back to it, like this was, I felt a situation signing this lease, like, okay, like at least I can control this a bit more. I have a little bit more agency. Whereas previous in the past, we've had issues with like I said, COVID, like you didn't have control. Like you're just listening.
And so now back to your group training and how you fill the space.
Yeah.
How much space do you have?
So
I know this, but I'm just asking.
Yeah, that's a loaded question. I would say like floor space, we probably have like 30. I would say like a good guess would be like 3,500 square feet.
Okay. Not
Yeah.
including washrooms, not including
Yeah,
fronts
like 3,500 square feet of like space we
of
can
gym
make money
space.
off of.
Yeah. How do you feel that you, like your size-wise with your group training and all of that, are you happy with how much space you have now that you're growing? Like, do you think that you could have used more? Do you feel like it's empty lots of times?
I would say I wouldn't say we're like maxed out on the space, but we're definitely like closer than I thought we'd be.
Which is great.
Which is great, which is what you want.
Yeah.
And that's only because of kind of that semi-private system that we use in the space. That's a good fit for the space. And then we design the space around that. So that was nice having that opportunity. I have rented the space before. We kind of knew the ins and outs and always had this vision in mind. Like if we had the opportunity to like revamp this how we would like, here's how we would set it up.
Mhm.
We're not going to set it up as like a one-on-one space where like 10 different trainers use it. We're going to set it up as our space alone. And then we're going to run these, like, I would say like really bespoke, like semi-private classes that fit well with the space. And that's how we're going to design it. And I think like in our primetime hours, when there's like 7 or 8 clients working out, I think it functions really well for that purpose. But there's definitely always like a little bit of room to grow, but it's more full than I thought it was going to be within like the first year, because we're only really a year or much less than a year into it.
Yeah.
And we're kind of like right where we want to be. Like obviously, again, the growth mindset, it's like I want to be more, like fill more hours, like have it busier there and stuff like that. But at least we're at this point where like we're hitting that kind of 20% of gross revenue, like we talked about, like in that first year, and that was kind of always the goal, was to see value in taking over that space.
Isn't it crazy to think that 5 years ago, it was you and one other person?
Yeah.
And now you're at a gym that's 3,500 square feet plus the
Yeah.
main floor is 5,500.
Yeah.
And you have 8 people training at once.
Yeah.
2 trainers.
Yeah.
And you're just kicking back,
Yeah, right.
eating
I don't think,
eating
there's
bonbons.
I don't think there's ever been a situation where I'm kicking back.
But it's really cool. Do you ever think about that, Justin? Like, do you ever look back and think like, wow, I did this?
Yeah, when I'm like
Okay.
turning off the lights at 10 p.m.,
Yeah.
like walking out, like that was a really nice kicking it back day. But yes, like there's very few opportunities where like you could like sit back and like enjoy what happened,
I know.
but only because of like the stress and chaos. Is like, oh man, it was nice to get through that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like it's nice to be at that point, and it's like small baby steps. Like when I graduated Nate in 2012, I assumed in 2 years I would like have a business with my logo on it, and that took like 12 years.
A
which is
business with, you mean
like,
like a
I'm like,
brick
oh,
and
like it'll
mortar?
be 2 years. I'll figure this out in 2 years, and then I'll sign a lease, and that'll be pretty much it.
Bob's your uncle.
Like pretty much how gym ownership goes. It's like it'll be way long, 6 times longer than that, and there's gonna be a lot more to go through to get there. But it's always nice to have those like big overarching goals, and the steps to get there are usually a little bit longer than you think. But having that growth mindset of like, here's where I'd eventually like to be, and it might take a little bit longer, but always be working towards like making things more better, improving, kind of always like making sure that the product you're delivering is a little bit better too.
So, how are you in the past episode we chatted about?
Checked. Yeah.
You just hired a new trainer. So, what is your plan to get more people for her to train?
So yeah, like the big goal for us is like obviously that semi-private program, which we like think has been like really well received by clients. So how this has kind of evolved is we kind of build those classes, typically like filling those classes with like positive feedback, reviews from clients, offering like a free week of training, which people can go sign up on our website and try us out for free for a week.
Plug, plug.
Plug. But starting to hand off those certain sessions that like are those other trainers that are not myself can handle, and like coaching them up so they can run those sessions really well. And then again, like starting like maybe we'll start dipping our toe in like marketing to start getting clients in the space. But like for us, it's kind of just really good positive feedback from clients, getting like positive reviews through Google and that kind of stuff, and that tends to like draw people in. And then our goals kind of when they come in for that free week is they just kind of blow the doors off. They really like the space. They really like the fact that they get like a one-on-one program for a third the price, and they get to pick their times that they come in and train. And the big thing is like there's trainers there that want them to do well and then enjoy seeing them. The biggest thing is like, yeah, I enjoy coming to the space. And that's kind of just organically led to our growth. Now we're kind of at a situation where we probably need to be a little bit more directed in how we grow, kind of beyond those clients we currently have. But then that now like kind of falls on me to grow that business.
And the good thing is now you can kick back and eat your bonbons
Always
and do
love
some
candy,
marketing.
and I love kicking back.
And but that is the growth. That's where that comes from, and that's where you have the time. Because before, when you're in the trenches training clients 5 a.m. to 10 p.m.,
Yeah.
you don't have time to do
No.
email marketing or collaborations or whatever. Like it's a lot.
Yes, and it's
It's too
starting,
much.
and it's starting to build those new skills now. Like not as good at doing this, like and embracing the fact that you're probably not going to be good at certain things,
Like what?
like email marketing or
Right.
like posting social media or that kind of stuff. I would say we like don't do a great job of like getting out there on social media and promoting that side of things. Obviously, like that's going to be probably a big factor for us now moving forward, because like obviously I want to be getting like these other trainers we have busier. Like the goal will be adding more classes, more opportunity for people to train, and with that will like naturally we need to draw in more clients that maybe aren't coming to us from just word of mouth.
Right.
Getting like our reach a little bit expanded to bring people into our space.
Yeah. And I mean, sorry to be the tough love. That's your job.
That is, yeah.
And I think that we, as business owners, we have to take that onto ourselves. It's great that your contractors have, like, do they come with their own clients?
They have, but I would say more often than not, especially with like the program that we kind of have rolled out right now. That's like a program that we fill with like clients that are like cross conditioning clients.
Right.
Yeah.
So, it's not up to your contractors to bring the business.
No.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
And now that you've been able to scale your business to where you can hand off those actual like trench hours.
Yeah.
I just made that up.
It's a makeup word.
Trench
hours.
Trench hours. You have the time and you can learn how to do email marketing. I'll help you.
Yeah. It's always nice to have resources. And that comes back to like the coaching and stuff is you kind of get, I've had coaching through the years, like help us get through different levels. And that's the big thing. The takeaway from me at every level is sometimes it's tough to pay that price for coaching. But at least in my experience at every level, as we've kind of invested in coaching, we've seen like net positive dividends, like quadrupling our gross revenue and stuff from some coaching programs and stuff like that. So you got to kind of get out of your own way and sometimes reach out to someone that's already where you're at. And kind of get that leadership from them to help open your eyes. Like here's how you reach that next level, so to speak. You're probably not going to figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
Kind of probably figure it out as best as you can because you've reached the ceiling, like we did. Like for in our first 2 years with one-on-one training, it's like, okay, if you're happy there, great. But if not, you're going to probably need to reach out to someone to help coach you through that kind of next jump. Because for a fact you're not going to get everything right.
Yeah. And I just want to clarify, when you say coaching, you mean business coaching.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this would be like gym owners that are where you're at right now.
Yeah.
And then kind of as a side hustle for them, they offer like business coaching, which has been incredibly helpful for us.
Yeah. Okay, we need to take a little break because, shocker, this podcast is brought to you by my flagship company, Blush, and I need to give a shout out. So, not only does Blush sponsor my lavish lifestyle, it also sponsors this podcast. Shouts. If you know me, you know that I do not play around when it comes to beauty and self care, and that's why Blush is your one stop shop for looking and feeling your best. We genuinely do it all: hair, makeup, nails, massage, tattoo, medi spa. Basically, if it makes you feel like a goddess, we probably offer it. So, whether you're looking for a fresh balayage or a relaxing massage or a little of that I woke up like this glow, we've got the experts to make it happen. Think of it as self care, but with a little extra love, sunshine, and family. And actually, with our most recent expansion, we now have a private gym, physiotherapy, chiropractic services, and a lot more to help your body. So, if you are ready to treat yourself, book an appointment at Blush Artistry because, let's be honest, life's too short for bad hair and uneven eyeliner. You can find us at blush-artistry.ca or over on Instagram at blushartistrymua. Back to the episode. I heard this from my coach,
Yeah.
my mentor. I call it, I'm more of my mentor, one of them. And she said, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And it's so true.
Yeah.
There's been networking events or like masterminds where I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't really feel like I can learn lots from these people. I'm happy that you're just starting your business. And I have obviously wisdoms there too.
Yeah.
But I want to be in a room where I'm looking around and thinking, oh my God, I'm out of my league.
Yes.
Because I want to get to where you are.
Yeah.
I want to have $5 million in revenue, and I just want to be there. And you can't get there by staying by yourself or surrounding yourself with the wrong people.
Yeah. And like getting out of the way of your ego with like, I deserve that. I should just have that. Like,
Right.
what am I not doing that I'm not there?
Yeah.
So when I would like, and that's going to kind of drew us into this next like coaching group that we're in is like seeing a lot of feedback from these people. Like, okay, like here's like their revenue or the clients they're like helping and stuff like that. And like, why aren't we there? And not like we deserve that. It's like, what are we not doing
Yeah.
at the moment that we can start to do to help us get there? So it's like, how can we look at our business and improve it and not just like, oh, like, woe is me. Like that should be mine. Getting that out of the way.
And I think that especially people that are very ego driven, they aren't able to take responsibility for maybe mistakes that they've made. They're not able to look at an experience and learn from it, better themselves. Okay. And so when you're looking at coaching and you're looking at mentorship, you have to put all of that aside.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why you're not where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so. How long have you been doing business coaching?
So we did some business coaching through COVID. That was kind of like, I would say like our level 1 business coaching.
That's so risky.
Yeah. And that was like, I guess like to be honest, like price point wise, that was like $250 a month, which at the time through COVID, like was like, it felt like a lot when our like revenue had been like, was like a third of what it was.
Yeah.
But it was still like a situation where like, I'm not quite sure how we're going to manage this. This seems like a like-minded group of like gym owners who are like moderately more successful than us at the moment. And that helped us kind of move through COVID. And then once COVID ended, like start to kind of skyrocket a little bit. Then we kind of, once we reached that level, we were looking to like move our ceiling even further. So it's like, what other kind of coaching resources are out there? Are people now like kind of beyond that level? And that's when we reached out to a different coaching course. And now we've been working with them for just over a year now. And that's just helped us more the kind of serious kind of business stuff of like standard operating procedures and that kind of stuff, like the more boring kind of black and white clerical work stuff that like is really boring. But if you want to move on to that next level and have 2, 3, 4 coaches working with you, like you need to have these in place. You're just not going to be able to do it if you're not willing to put in that kind of behind the scenes work of building systems and helping those people succeed.
Yeah. You have to pretend you do this for a living.
Like it has to be a real job, like and like boring parts of the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you look at I look at my parents' auto body shop. Everyone walks into that place, or Blush, for instance, or your space.
Yeah.
Like, this is such a fun place to be. And like, look at this. There's people coming in and out. And it's like, man, you know how much behind the scenes happens in order to get here?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Or stuff that goes wrong that you don't see. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that's like just keeping the lights on, that kind of stuff, which is like, whatever. Like they don't need to care about it. And that's kind of the ownership side of taking over those spaces, is realizing like, as harsh as it is, like people don't really care about what it took to get this going. They just care about like their experience in that moment. And so being able to separate yourself from that.
Yeah. And that's okay. They don't have to care.
No.
It's your job.
It's my job.
Even your employees, even your contractors, your staff members, any of those, their job is to do their job.
Yeah.
And if you can instill like a level of respect of the space and pride of ownership and get that like morale and culture going in your space, that's great.
Yeah.
When it comes to how much toilet paper went up by,
Yeah.
not their problem.
Not their problem. They don't care.
Yeah.
But they're going to be mad when that's reflected in like rates going up. So you
Yeah.
have to have a like a good explanation for that, like having those kind of tough conversations with clients.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like when we talked about like scaling the business and stuff, the big thing I would say is like reaching out to people that are possibly already where you're at, or not where you're at, but where you want to be,
Right.
and finding those resources to help you. I think the biggest error is like, I want to scale my business. I want to be where, insert successful company is in my industry. I just like don't know how to do it. I must not be working hard enough. You're probably just like solving the wrong problems.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's where I think the big value in like hiring another, like someone to coach you and help you where you want to be is they're going to probably help you answer the problems that you don't even realize you have. You know what I mean? Like you maybe don't understand your financials as good as you're supposed to. And that didn't even like occur to you that would be a problem. That was your limiter. So that's where I think reaching out to like third-party coaching is so helpful to get you to that next level. Once you've realized you've hit your ceiling and you're just kind of like, I just can't work harder. I need to like figure out what this new problem is. I think that's where those coaches have huge value in kind of moving to that next level.
Would you say that hiring a business coach is more important than marketing your business?
100%. Because we like this year will have like our revenue has increased like 40%, like gross revenue increased 40%, and we've done absolutely zero marketing.
Wow.
So
well, no, you have 900 followers.
Yes.
And sometimes you post me on there.
Sometimes we post you. Sometimes you post you.
Well, I don't have access to your Instagram.
We share it. Does that count?
Yeah.
That's how little we know about social media. But like that'd be the thing. Like, so working with this coaching group, our gross revenues increased 40%, which warrants us being in the space. So say, oh, you're making all this money. It's like, no, that was to warrant us being in this new space with this need. It's not like, oh, that was immediately in our pockets. Like, no, that's to like just make sure we deserve to be here.
Yeah. Oh, you deserve to be there, Justin.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Wow. The eye roll was incredible there. Yeah. If you're just listening to this.
So that was that piece of it. Like that coaching helped us increase our gross revenue to warrant us being here. But it's not like we like did marketing to do it. So that wasn't the problem. Like there was revenue to be had that wasn't going to be solved by paid Google ads.
Yeah.
Not to say those don't have value, but like that wasn't the low hanging fruit of our business that needed to get grabbed. It was like, maybe that's the next piece, but like that was probably the easy, what we worked through with that coaching company was the easy stuff for us to fix that revenue was just kind of waiting to be acquired.
Oh, I like that. That's really valuable, Justin.
Yeah.
Because I think that social media, everyone thinks it's the be all end all to building it.
I just need to post more. I just need to market more.
It's not.
And we didn't do an ounce of that. And maybe we will, but like that wasn't the problem.
Yeah.
The problem was like we didn't have the right product in place. We need to like fine tune that product. We maybe didn't know our financials as good as we needed to help us like set some goals and stuff like that. And I think as kind of lame as it sounds, like once you realize that goal, it's easier to achieve it. And like that kind of whatever, reading the book, The Secret or whatever, like you kind of put it out there, like we want to do this and we will do this. There is like value to knowing where the actual target and the goal is.
Well, you have to have a vision.
It can't be just busier.
Totally. A vision forward. And whether that looks like going from one treatment room to 2 treatment rooms or going from your home-based business to commercial space, like there's, you have to have direction forward. Forward just isn't enough.
Yeah. And then we see it like in training too, like more isn't always better. Like busier isn't better.
Yeah.
Like busier of the wrong thing is not helping you.
No.
So.
And it sucks.
Yeah. And don't want that because that's what you got good at and that's what you're already doing. You need to sometimes kind of find a new and a better way. And sometimes you need someone to help you see that.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. This was
so helpful, I hope.
I think it is. And I think that, again, I come from the beauty industry. Well, the auto body shop, actually.
Yeah.
But business is business.
Yeah.
You're always relying on people to buy your service, buy your product, support you. And when you're creating a business that is now supporting other people, you are the economy, Justin.
Yeah. And then like, to be honest, like you take it seriously in the sense of like, I'm responsible for these people. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's, I guess, what I take like more seriously now. Because when it was just yourself, it's like, you know what I mean? Like whatever, I just got to worry about me. Now it's like worrying about other people and making sure they do well. Just adds like another layer of like seriousness to like, we need to treat this like it's people's like livelihood depends on it.
I have one more question for you. Speaking of depending. So if a new client was to come to you and they said they want to train with you and only you, Justin.
Yeah.
But you're trying to filter clients into your team now. first of all, how do you do that?
Yeah.
And do you have different rates for your trainers? What's your process with that?
Yeah, so like we don't have different rates for different trainers per se. I feel like sometimes that sets a weird kind of like benchmark for they're not as good. And
Sure.
I think my exact goal is to make sure they are as good,
Yeah.
if not better.
Yeah.
So we avoid doing like a disparate rate for different trainers. I think the big goal for me though would be finding out what that person's goals are and making sure they align with like the trainer who I think is the right fit for them. I think sometimes people just assume because I'm the owner and I've been doing this the longest that like kind of my training style must align with them because obviously I own the space and I'm the best at this.
Yeah.
But it's like getting like into their goals and figure like, you know what, this trainer's actually probably gonna have like way better rapport with you. They probably like are more focused on those specific goals that you have than I might be. And to be honest, it's probably like giving them a chance just to try that trainer out. Biggest thing is for me is like just getting out of my own way and getting them an opportunity to go see that coach. And then typically, especially because I feel really confident in the coaches we have, they hit it off in that first session. Even if it's a free session, I don't really care. It's just an opportunity for them to break the ice and realize like, just because my face is out there, it's like, doesn't mean I'm the best. And they end up hitting it off. And it's like, that's great. So it's getting out of my own way and doing everything I can to make sure I'm not perceived as the only expert in the room.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're really interested in, I don't know, like weight loss or whatever, like certain sports performance. It's like, so-and-so's like unreal at that. Like that is such a passion for them. They love doing that stuff. You should like try a workout with them. And it's like, oh, that is exactly right. Like, and I wasn't lying. That person is really interested in that and they do really well with that. And it's like, I'm not that expert in that field. So just getting out of the way and almost taking my ego aside and not wanting to be that expert, be like, this person's way better than me. You should go see them. And knowing that they are and like believing that.
Okay, you said your face is everywhere. Where are you talking about?
Like on our social media page, there's like 900 people that follow us, Heather. We post like twice a year.
No, you post weekly because I post.
That's true.
You
and we share it,
repost.
which is basically counts.
People are probably going to think I have shares in your company.
I wish.
I do too.
That'd be nice. No.
Next step.
They're mine.
Oh, that's so fast. So then do you talk to the client? Like, let's say I'm more trying to get an idea, like for the listeners, like, because it's a broad spectrum. So as the owner of Blush, someone contacts me. Heather, I want you to do my makeup. And they contact through email. Do you then call the client and say, listen, I actually think that so-and-so is a way better trainer for you? Or how do you navigate that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think again, to come back to that kind of semi-private model is to be honest, I don't really like have time. And even like our other trainers don't really have for like one-on-one clients. So somebody like, hey, I really want to like train with you. What's your availability? Oh, it's Tuesday, Thursday at 5 p.m. It's like, actually, we don't have like any one-on-one spots, but we have this awesome semi-private program at 5 o'clock on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You should come try it for free. They come try it for free. We have like our coaches there running those sessions. I'm there. Our other coaches are there. That's an opportunity to get them to experience those coaches for that week for free and get a feel for like their kind of coaching style. So that's how we kind of introduce those clients to that product. It's like they come in maybe thinking that they want one-on-one training, but through that conversation, that goal setting, we kind of help them realize that like they're going to get the same goals, the same kind of coaching and all that stuff. The price point's going to be lower and it's going to be more flexible. And then we put them in a situation to get coached by other people that aren't me and realize like these coaches are really good. I actually really like talking to them. I hit it off with them. My goal is to set up that client for success with that coach. And that's where I think that system we use in our space right now, that semi-private system, is so helpful for kind of introducing people to possibly a new product that they just like didn't realize existed. They just assumed it's always one-on-one training. It's like, what is this semi-private program? Then they go try it. It's like, oh, this is my own program. It's not a group class. It's not a Zumba class. Like, great. Like I'm getting to do what I want. And actually these coaches that aren't Justin are really, really good. It's like, perfect. That's awesome. And that's kind of a win-win for everyone. At the end of the day, the week was free. They got training from us, which was great. They got to meet us. They got to see what our product is. At the end of the week, if that's not a good fit for them, at least they know very well that it was or it wasn't. And we have a good feel for, is that client a good fit for us as well? So we have that opportunity to say like, does this person fit into kind of our training model? Are they a good client for us? And there's that situation where sometimes like maybe they aren't and maybe they aren't a good fit for our product either.
I think that businesses as a full wide spectrum, I think that that's really, really easy to do in the sense of, I am Heather and you want to come see me, but I've got Kate. She's an awesome hairstylist. What I'll do is I'll give you 20% off your first haircut with her. Or there's ways to work it around so it's not specific to your industry. I'm just trying to make it so it's like, other business owners that are listening to this, you can be imaginative and you can creative with your offerings for new clients.
Hmm.
So they're not just always coming to you, because as people that have built this business on our name, it's
Hmm.
very hard to start that transition into just the team.
Yeah.
Especially when you're offering a service that people are really, really excited for. But that's where, again, you have your team that trains not exactly like you, but has systems in place, and it's very cohesive, and their experience is the same start to finish, whether they're with you or so and so.
And I think a lot of that, I'm not sure if it's what the feeling be of like regret, or like you feel like you're kind of doing a bait and switch with clients. I think that disappears, or at least it disappeared for me when I felt like I'd coached those trainers up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I was really confident in their ability. I felt like I'd coached them up enough, and I was really confident in their skills to be like, this isn't like a
Downgrade.
light version of me. This is probably like the best version I can give someone. And I feel more confident, like, hey, Devlin's going to be running your warm up today. I have like 110% confidence that he's going to like do an incredible job here. And it's not like I have to trick myself into thinking that. I genuinely believe that because we put the time in to coach that trainer to do that job really well. And then when they do, it just is like more confirmation that like this is a great fit. This person knows what they're doing. If Justin's not here, I still have complete confidence that like Devlin's going to be able to coach this session really well. And I think that kind of getting rid of that bias in and of ourselves comes from like preparation, coaching, making sure that person's prepared. And if we still have that, then probably deep down we feel like we haven't maybe prepared that person well enough. And then that comes back to our extreme ownership of like, that's my fault. If I feel like I'm kind of like being evasive with clients because I'm trying to kind of force that trainer on them, probably don't feel confident in their abilities. And I need to take that on and make sure they feel like above and beyond prepared.
I completely agree with you.
And
Go ahead.
so that was the big switch for me. It's like, like I feel bad doing that switch. It's like, you probably feel bad because you haven't prepped that person enough, and you don't want to because you feel like you're stepping on toes, or it's like, is that really my role? It's like, it 100% is your role.
Yeah. Yeah, it's your job we've talked, I feel like a broken record, but
Yeah.
it's your job to train your people.
Yeah.
And I know exactly what that feels like. There's been girls on the team, or artists, I should say, where I'm like, ooh, I don't know if they can execute this.
Yeah.
And then I have to kind of do like introspective, should they even be on the team if I don't know if they can do this?
Yeah.
And when you're starting to have people that only do certain services, then your business model needs to change.
Exactly. And that comes with like that, helping your team get busy and making sure you feel comfortable in getting busy. And that's the kind of other piece, as you've gotten like busy enough, like more busy for you in this area is not good. Like getting this, like now you're coaching the coaches. That's probably an area where you're maybe not as good yourself, and you got to like practice and get better and do better at that. And that's the new busy that you need to be starting to lean into.
Okay. Wow. This was awesome.
Sweet.
Did you have a good time today, Justin?
I had the most fun.
Did you?
I had the most fun.
Okay, good. So at the end of every episode, we like to give a couple takeaways. I know that you've already shared a lot of insight, but do you have any takeaways for someone that's looking to scale their business from
I think,
clients at lots?
I guess when we talk about like clients, like in our like specific business, I think it's maybe thinking of what does that, maybe that new product that's going to take you kind of past that ceiling where you're already at.
Yeah.
If you're already at like 110% of doing this service, like you don't need to be 120% to do better. You need to find some way to either kind of maintain the quality and scale that to more people. So I think it's possibly reaching out to coach someone else that's kind of where you want to be, and just using them as a bit of a guide of like, okay, how did you get there? Like what products are offering, or what am I not seeing? You know what I mean? You've kind of reached the end range of what you can with this certain product. Like what are you doing that's different, and what do I need to maybe start looking towards to improve my business? So I think the big takeaway would be, once you've realized like you're as busy as you could possibly be in your business, you probably aren't seeing the right problem anymore. Like you've solved the problem of getting busy in this realm. You're not going to see the problem now. You're not going to find that new thing maybe on your own. You probably need to reach out to someone who's already been there 7 years before, and they're gonna be like, have you considered offering this, or you considered doing this? It's like, oh, okay, there's that direction.
Yeah.
That person sometimes helps you provide that direction. So I'd say like sometimes it's just like outsourcing that coaching is the biggest move once you've like figured out your business, to kind of move on to that next level and start to scale it.
Yeah.
It's usually going to come from help from outside.
Dig deeper. Get in there.
Dig deeper.
Okay, where can our listeners find you? Obviously on TikTok.
No, or Snapchat or whatever else is out there.
I don't know.
We'd love you to be our 901st follower on Instagram. It's probably like 910 now. But yeah, so we're on Instagram, Cross Conditioning, website crossconditioning.ca. Like I said to Heather, if you're interested in trying out our semi-private program, it's a free week is on us. You can come try us out for a week and see if we're a good fit and see if you find my jokes funny. And if not,
I'm funny and I'll be there.
We're probably
Look
not
at
a
my
good
muscles.
fit. So good. So good. But yeah, that's where you can find us, crossconditioning.ca. If you're interested in trying us out, we'd love to hear from you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you got a lot out of this episode. I know I did, and we will talk to you soon. All right, another episode bites the dust. If you loved this conversation as much as I did, don't forget to hit follow, leave a review, or even send it to a friend you think would enjoy it. And because I like to keep things fun, we're always running giveaways with our amazing guests. So make sure to check with the show notes, our Instagram page, get in on the details on how to get the free stuff because it's free and fun. And who doesn't like that? Another little disclaimer, while I love sharing advice and business wisdom, I am not your lawyer, I'm not your accountant, and I'm not your fairy godmother. If you do want to be best friends, though, you can hit me up. Everything on this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only, so no lawsuits, okay? Thank you for hanging out with me today. If you'd like to hang out more, you can find me on Instagram at I am Heather Dick and at The Expansion Code. And all of our free resources and consulting packages are on the website, www.theexpansioncode.ca. I appreciate you being here more than you know. I will see you next time.